Well, thank you very much for staying with us, and I wish you a happy new year again, like we did earlier. But let's move on very quickly. One of the laudable achievements recorded by the present administration in the past year, 2022, is the addition of about $6 billion to the nation's economy through the export of Nigeria's non-oil products. This is no doubt due to various intervention programs put in place by President Muhammadu Buhari's led administration to boost productivity and encourage stakeholders in the export of non-oil commodities. As Nigeria's revenue from crude oil continues to drop as a result of oil theft, lack of maintenance, and pipeline vandalism, the need to diversify the economy and boost foreign exchange inflows through the promotion of non-oil exports has not been more urgent than now. In the light of this, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council has continued to establish numerous initiatives to promote the development and diversification of the country's non-oil export base, as over 200 different products ranging from manufactured, semi-processed, raw agricultural products were exported in the year of 2022. Well, let's talk more about this to discuss this more and understand what is being done to promote Nigeria's non-oil export base. I have joining me live from Abuja via Zoom the #1 man at the country's Export Council is the Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Dr. Ezra Yakusak. Dr. Yakusak, thank you so much for joining us this new year. We appreciate this.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, let's start the discussion with some major achievements and events that shaped operations of the NEPC in 2022, despite the harsh economic factors. Take us through some of them.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Like I said, Happy New Year to Nigerians. Of course, last year was an interesting year for us. Of course, like you said, despite the harsh economic environment we had, we were able to make some modest achievement in the non-oil export sector. You know, last year, the impact of COVID-19 was still there. The Russian-Ukraine war, which had a negative impact in not only Nigeria, but almost all economies around the world, and unstable foreign exchange performance. All this, cumulated to some of the challenges we had in the non-oil export space. But despite this myriad of challenges, despite these challenges we had, there were various interesting and great strides or achievement that we had. You recall that from January to June last year, that's our first half-year report, we recorded a total number of a sum of $2.5 billion as foreign exchange earning from non-oil export. And of course, that happened because about 4,146 metric tons of goods were exported from Nigeria. And that's about a 62% increase. By the way, I need to say that that was the highest volume of trade we had, in non-oil export in the past 4 years. The interesting thing about that is the fact that we had various products, we had various diversification of products, new products came into the scene. And of course, that's over 200 products were exported. But the interesting thing is there was the narrative, a kind of shifted, change. You know, Nigeria is known with export of mainly raw agricultural products. And NEPC and other government agencies have been hammering on or talking or sensitizing exporters on the need to add value. Because the essence to add value is once you add value on the product, you generate employment. Once you add value, it leads to industrialization. Once you add value, you earn more foreign exchange on that product. So interestingly, we were so happy to realize that for the first time, manufactured product was about the third, number of manufactured products was about 36.28%, while raw agricultural products was 33.35%. That was good news for us. What that means is that Nigerians are now exporting more of manufactured or semi-manufactured products than raw agricultural products. And so it was a great news for us during that time. I also need to inform you or inform Nigerians that in the period under review, that's January to June 2022, our export destination was 112 countries. So our products went to 112 countries. Of course, the top countries were Brazil, USA, India, Vietnam, and so many other countries. But among those countries, most of them were, they are not within the African continent. And what that means is that there's need for us to trade more in Africa, because inter-African trade is just about 14% compared to, Asia, that's 40%, and the European intertrade, which is about 60%. So there's need for improvement. And the African Continental Free Trade Area, which has taken off, it's a good way of improving intra-African trade.
Interestingly, you already touched on that figure, that impressive figure for the year, which I was to talk about, and I wanted you to explain more of how you achieved that remarkable feat. But what else are you doing with regards to curbing informal exports and also the high demand of urea and fertilizer, which is of export quality?
If you don't mind, please, let me go back to the second part of the question. And that second part of the question is that what actually happened? The programs that were undertaken to ensure that fit.
Yes,
one
please.
of it was, you recall that we set up various export trade houses in Kenya, Lome, and of course, that's Togo, and Cairo, Egypt. And of course, the federal government approved the sum of 375 billion naira as export expansion grant to about 285 companies that have exported and repatriated their proceeds. That grant is meant to, to cushion the effect of infrastructural deficiency or difficulties in exporting from Nigeria. And of course, we had various programs that we encourage exporters, which exporters key in. What are certification programs? We also took various exporters to trade fairs in Gambia, in Malaysia, and other places. But one of the key things we did was also our Exporters Award Night. If you remember, we had an Exporters Award Night. It was a maiden edition of the Exporters Award Night, where Nigerian exporters that have done very well were awarded and encouraged to do more. So these are some of the things that lead to that figure. Now, back to your question on informal trade, right?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Back to your question on informal trade. One of the things we'll be doing is to make sure that we mainstream informal trade, because that's very key. And I will go back to what I said before. Out of the 15 top countries that Nigeria exported, only 2 were African countries. And that is Togo, that is Niger Republic and Benin. Only 2 were African countries. And what that tells us is that we are not trading among ourselves. That's bad news. But the good news is that it simply means, and those 2 countries, they are sharing boundary with Nigeria. And from previously, those 2 countries, that's Niger and Benin, the amount of trade, the volume of trade there has been very informal. So for us to record one of the top 15 is good news to us. What that means is that our advocacy programs, our sensitization programs on mainstreaming informal trade is working. So, but apart from that, we are liaising with other government agencies like the Nigerian Customs, CBN, and other organizations to ensure that we persuade Nigerians to embark on formal trade as against informal trade. While we do this, our officers go to the various borders where most of these informal trade take place, and they literally preach to these people, telling them the essence of imbibing formal trade and the benefits derivable therefrom, i.e., the various incentives and grants they will get from government if they embark on informal trade. And of course, by informal trade, you also help us to get the various statistics we need and plan better.
Now, let's speak to the One State, One Product initiative, which of course indeed is laudable. But can you tell us about this and what is expected from state governments? How supportive have they been in actualizing this plan?
Okay. The One State, One Product is an initiative of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council to identify at least one product in every state. Because we realize that for every state, there are so many products that are of exportable value. So what we're saying is, instead of being a jack of trade and master of none, we decided to identify only one product, at least a principal product. We have other alternative products, but only a principal product that we encourage every state or each state of the federation to put its effort together and harness its resources and export that product. And so that initiative is being done by, like I said, by Nigerian Export Promotion Council in liaison with the various states. Now, Section 8 of Nigerian Export Promotion Act, CAP, N108, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, created or established what we call the State Committee on Export Promotion. Those state committees were designed to ensure grassroots export promotion program in the various states. And so most or all the products identified by those states were done in liaison or in collaboration or in partnership with the various state committee on export promotion. So on 2nd November 2022, we held the first or the maiden edition of the National Forum on State Committee on Export Promotion, where all the representatives of those state committee in the 6 states of the Federation and the FCT came together here in Abuja, where we discussed the need to improve our programs on the One State, One Product initiative. And from that meeting, I'm happy we called that meeting because some of the things we had, some of the challenges they had were were identified. And right at that meeting, we also agreed that the stipends being given to this State Committee on Export Promotion was to be increased by 100%. And what that means is that we are serious and we are committed to ensuring the success of the One State, One Product program in Nigeria, because if each state key into this program, you can imagine the volume of export we're going to have in Nigeria, and of course, the foreign exchange that will be coming into the country and into the economy.
Now, Dr. Yakusak, the Export for Survival initiative is also gaining traction. I see the videos, pictures everywhere, and a lot is being done. Now, how well has this impacted the workings of the NEPC? Are you getting more players? Are they getting more aware? Are you having more participants in the export space?
Yes, I can say we have. We're having more participants in the oil exports, in non-oil export space. You can easily see that by our export performance last year. You will see the geometric increase in non-oil export, and that's part of the things we are doing. You are aware that the Export for Survival campaign was actually kicked off commenced in February 2022, but it was formally launched by the Oil Minister, Federal Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Otumbani Adebayo, in November 2022. And we have several inquiries from exporters and potential or prospective exporters on what they need to do. And the media has helped us a lot. TVC, thank you very much. They've helped us a lot in our Export for Survival campaign. But one of the key things is that, what is Export for Survival? Export for Survival is just a campaign to persuade Nigerians to embark on non-oil export, because we feel this is an emergency. This is a survival instinct that we need to embrace as a nation, because if we don't export economically, we may not survive. And that's the idea behind the Export Survival. And I need to also tell you that other key government agencies have also keyed into our Export for Survival campaign. We have a partnership with Nigerian Orientation Agency, NOA. We had a partnership with them, and they are helping us in that regard. But you recall that the CBN also initiated a policy called the RT200, that is raise to 200 billion in the next 3 to 5 years. If you look at the contents of that, or the whole fulcrum of that RT200, you realize that it keying into our Export for Survival campaign. Because when you say raise to 200 billion, when you say raise is not to move, race is not to walk, race is not run, race is to flee, and it connotes emergency. It's a survival instinct. So together with the CBN and other agencies, we are making waves in our Export for Survival campaign. And very soon, this campaign started last year. You may not see the result immediately, or the full result immediately. Let's give it the next 2, 3 years. I'm sure Nigeria will benefit from it, and our economy will better off for it.
Interesting. conversation. This is 2023 live and direct. Now, what are those things or what are your expectations from government? Of course, that will make you do your job better and easier, more effective, and more productivity at this critical time that we've all identified that we need revenue from non-oil space.
Okay. Our as a council, we've identified some issues. We have a work plan for 2023 and beyond. We have also a midterm plan that we have designed and structured by the management of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. And of course, in all of this, what I can say is money. Let me be like Oliver Twist. We need more money. If the federal government, because the fact is that export promotion is all about money. It's about promotion, and promotion is about money. It's a publicity thing. It's about money. You cannot promote without money. There's nothing you can promote without money. And so we need more money. If the federal government can assist us, and you can see the essence of money by the 50 billion naira that was given to Nigerian Export Promotion Council in 2021 in respect of the grant. That is part of the reason why our non-oil export volume completely, shot up in 2022. And so, if we have more money, I am sure we'll do a lot in the promotion of non-oil exports.
So you tell me that you're still optimistic that moving on, these positive figures will continue to trickle in as we move on in 2023.
I'm very optimistic that by 2023, we may have an increase up to no less than 30% of the figure we had last year. I'm very optimistic because I'm waiting for the figures for, the second part of the year. That's July to December 2022. If we had those wonderful figures from January to June 2022, hopefully by July to December, by the time the figures trickle in, our figures will be high. And in 2023, we hope to do better. We're working, we've made our plans. We're going to work better than 2022 to see how we can make this, we can make the non-oil export space or the Nigerian economy improve in terms of foreign exchange earning.
Yes, Doctor, before I let you go, let's wrap up on this very important, you mentioned the AFCFTA and how Africans can deepen trade. We attended the IETF in South Africa and a lot of talks there about the opportunity in this 1.2 billion persons market when we talk about the African continent's population. What more can export leaders like you from different countries do at meetings like that? Another one is coming November this year, I think in Abidjan or somewhere. So what do you think you guys can come together with that can make sure that we strictly trade amongst each other?
One of the things is to pursue what we call economic integration. Economic integration is very key because the fact is that, like I said earlier on, Africans, we don't trade among ourselves. And if you look at our culture, we look at our tradition, if you look at our history, our antecedent, you realize that we have a common culture, we have a common history, and why not? But then we don't trade among ourselves. And some of them, some of the issues I understand is because of we have some kind of, whether it is by design, I don't know, but we have some kind of infrastructural challenges to even trade among ourselves. Let me give you an example. It's easier for you to send goods from here to China or Europe than to even send goods to a neighboring African country because we don't have a shipping line. We don't have an indigenous shipping line that goes directly to this country. So it has to go to either Europe and come back to Africa. And you see, that of course is a disincentive to any export trade, considering the fact that some of these products have shared life. If you are taking a flight to Gambia, a neighboring country a West African country, you likely realize that you take the flight from Nigeria or Abuja and goes to Lome, goes to Accra, then go to Freetown, Islarion, before reaching Gambia. I'm not aware of any flight that takes off from Nigeria directly to Gambia now, which is a West African country of less than an hour or 2 hours maximum. So that's a disincentive to trade. So if we come together, one of the things we will do is to network among ourselves, among the various trade promotion organizations, to ensure that we increase trade among not only West Africa, but regionally among African nations. I need to inform you that we've already taken that initiative, whatever we call the ECOWAS TPO network, that's ECOWAS Trade Promotion Organization Network. And it's a network of trade promotion organizations among the 15, 16 West African countries. And I am the president of that initiative. And what we've been talking about is the need to trade among ourselves, the need to ensure economic diplomacy and economic integration among Africans.
I must thank you so much. I've been speaking to the Executive Director, Chief Executive Officer, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Dr. Ezra Yakusak. Happy New Year to you again. I have a productive exporting year. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to TVC and Happy New Year to Nigerians.
All right, then. Enjoy the rest of your day.